At this time, we will be starting our 7 o'clock meeting. It's not going to be at 7, but our regular meeting. We ask everyone to please sit down and turn your phones on silent at this time, respectfully. Thank you for closing that door.
The business of the people of Eastpointe. We are grateful for the many blessings that you have given us. Let us all use our gifts of our talents and treasures to make this community a better place. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
No.
Next item.
Mayor, real quick.
Yes.
That was just to remove the item, correct? I just wanted to know if we could remove one more item. I don't know if it's necessary, and that was item H. And that's reappointment to the Civil Service Board. So if I can make that motion to remove that item and
Second that?
I did.
Councilman.
Okay, and I got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lucido.
yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker. Mayor Owens.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes.
Okay, we did the approval of the agenda. Hearing of the public. At this time, you get 3 minutes at the hearing of the public. We ask you to come up to the podium and speak loudly. I know it's hard with the mask on, but we got
CDBG grant money for Rain Park. Back in 2019, the Eastpointe Parks Commission literally toured every park within the city. We had clipboards making notes as to what would be potential recommendations for all of the parks. And just recently, I know there's a process going on for an application for grant money for Rain. And the projection would be to put in some outline when it's in full bloom and everything. We do not feel that putting in playground equipment has adequate space for it. And I really think that before you move forward with something like that, you really need resident input because they are very protective. For future reference, as you're looking for things to do possibly with the parks, if we're not going to be in the loop, at least please look at the master plan. There are suggestions for every park within the city. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Because the plans are so drastically different, I don't believe council should make a motion today to move forward with applying for this grant. And sidestepping the wishes of the residents and our commissions is not how things should be done. And I agree with Mr. Sasek, we are very protective of that park. It's a beautiful park, just the way it is. It's enjoyed year-round. We don't need anything man-made or playscape. It's just gonna wreck it. And that's my opinion. Okay, thank you.
They terrorize my family. Now, we're shaped by our experiences. And so I came to this city and I asked them, I said, listen, I need to protect my family. So the city allowed me to build a fence that's larger than 6 feet around my home. And that over the years has protected my family, and my girls have grown on and gone on to their own lives. To build fences on corner lots. I think the city is gracious by doing so, to allow the residents to beautify their properties, free of harassment, free of archaic ordinances that do not apply in this time in day and time. So again, I have a house on 190.
Quiet nature and dog park being transformed into a park with playground. Right now, all streets surrounding the park are only parkable on one side, and there is no nearby parking lot. Parking is already difficult, and this would make it more so. Many residents have chosen their homes around this park for the quiet nature and not so nearby neighbors. This would be bringing a jungle gym into the front yards of many homes. The city already has many parks such as Kennedy and Spindler Park and even Memorial Field.
I don't know if it's, are they speaking right about it? Is it?
That's what's in our agenda. In the agenda, she proposed playground equipment.
Oh, she did? I thought it was something else. I know we can go to that part, but.
Public hearing was last.
What? I'm sorry. Oh, okay, Kim.
So what?
Public hearing was last.
Right, they can't, speak on this now,
like-
but I want to get a verification.
To clarify, at the
Seeing none. The first hearing of the public is now closed. We're going right to the approval of minutes. Council?
Madam Mayor, I would move to receive and file the minutes of the regular meeting for February 1st, 2022.
Support?
Moved in support. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker, Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Council,
To Chapter 2 Administration, Article 5, Boards and Commissions, Division 5, Parks and Recreation Commission of the Ordinance of the City of Eastpointe.
Motion and support. Call the roll, please.
Mayor, I
Yes,
actually
ma'am.
wanted, Mr. Lipinski from Rare did provide some feedback based on the ordinance that I wanted to share.
Okay.
On 2 of the pages where it references inflatables, the current policy at Rare is not mimicked in this ordinance, and he had requested that council consider.
Well, go ahead, yeah. I think we put in there, if it's by council approval, depending upon the event, by council approval, and then people can have those items by showing, insurance and things like that. I think we talked about that, Councilwoman.
So yes, I did talk to Mr. Lipinski also, and I know.
So we'll be taking out the inflatables. What will we be taking out on number 3, the inflatables? Because I know what we added, so what do you want us to add and subtract? I guess that's where I'm at.
So on that first page, number 3, instead it would read, inflatables, dunk tanks, petting zoos, ponies, large tents, trains are only permitted by city-sponsored or recreation authority-sponsored.
And the time and the insurance, that's what I was looking at, and I thought it was supported last time we put this together. I just hate when we go back and forth on things that make sense and then come back and change it.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree with the mayor and mayor pro tem on this. Is there any, do you foresee, I guess?
As part of that, and we get the insurance, and then we're okay. Everything else would run through Rare, and their rules would apply. So, as long as it's a special event app request, then I'm fine with it.
Okay.
And like I said, that was my intention when we voted to approve it, was if it was for an event, like the mayor said, if she's doing her back-to-school event, she wants to have an inflatable come in, she provides the insurance to the city, at that time, we would have the ability to approve that event with that inflatable.
And that's the way the proposal.
Change the signage.
Yeah, sorry. I'll have to look that. I don't have my text available. Did I email it in? I just said it at the meeting, right? I can find it. Can we just agree to that next meeting instead of me looking for it right now?
I'm fine with that.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker, Councilmember Lucido,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes. Next item, Macomb County Community Development Block Grant Competitive Grant Funding. Do y'all want to discuss this? We got Ms. Holman, our Director of Economic Development.
Yes, Madam Mayor, so really quick, I have had a lot of feedback, unless we move back to the rain parks being what is in the Park and Recreation Master Plan, then I would, consider going around that route.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because, like the sidewalk, like Councilwoman Lucido said, we wanna make it accessible to everybody. This park is for everyone, in Eastpointe, but, sidewalks with, I forget the language, but
That is why we had leaned towards bringing the outside equipment right there in that space, because it's near downtown, and who wouldn't feel great in the summertime when they can go right across the street and do some working out right across the street for free, right? So we were just doing something health, wellness, too. So will we still be able to use that grant funding for another park, or are we too late for that? Before you answer that, I'm gonna let Mr. DeMonico, because he might answer some of his questions too.
Yeah, and I think, I guess I'll be leading up to that question. I did look into, Madam Mayor, you mentioned it at the last, and coordinate a main update and then update all those lead service lines using CDBG grants and speed up the replacement of the lead service lines. At least I mean, obviously when it comes to next year, we'll see if everybody agrees with that, but I think that'd be a good strategy. But anyway, that's not gonna be the strategy this year, because we can't do one at a time, because there's a lot of things we'd have to come up with in a very short period of time, basically. I like the streetlights. I think then at this point would be my,
Good for 12 months. It's a lengthy process, so definitely not this year. You know, we could look into the cost to hire a consultant to do the income eligibility. So as people applied, you know, this neighbor may made it, this one may not, this may, you know, so it would be very choppy. But that, again, that's up to you. We did also talk about the accessibility in Kennedy Park and Memorial Park. Kennedy.
We stated before that we take everybody's thoughts about these things and we weigh them equally, and it seems that the overwhelming response is that everybody wants to keep Rain Park green. So I think that to me speaks volumes. I haven't heard anything from anyone that has reached out that said anything contrary to that. So since we're doing this for the residents, I think that
The last council meeting, you said it would take someone to come in here to identify each lead. I thought they knew which homes had lead pipes in it. So it's 100 and, I think it's 300 and something homes, correct? Yeah. So we should know what those homes and those addresses are, and we should be able to identify if they're meet those requirements. That shouldn't be too hard, right? And then we can do CDBG.
Many-month process for each applicant.
If we
Because-
start that process now, we'll be ready for next year. I think
That's-
Councilman DeMonico was gonna say something.
well, I think on that, I thought there's like the second option if we coordinate it. I was trying to well, I read it quickly too. We got that email today, and was certainly not the only email. If we're coordinated with a water main, is that what, I found an example, what was it, Providence, Rhode Island or something like that, where they did you're saying they must have done individual, like, income verifications and then only replace lead service lines at the homes that qualified?
And again, that's a different state, so while everyone has to follow HUD, we obviously have to follow what Macomb County tells us, and we sent you the.
Plenty of time to plan ahead of for instead of, the last hour, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Thank you, because this is actually is due next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm willing to make a motion on this if you guys are ready to, make a motion. If you guys would be, and, if you guys agree with doing the streetlights first, and second, coming up with a Rain Park, plan that is just, that wind, mirrors are what's in our recreation master plan. So nothing that's in here, but just.
Well, I had one other idea.
Yes.
If I could throw it. So we've done, wild to me that wouldn't apply, but we can just repave a road that is gonna get even less use than a parking lot.
Because the road has got to be in a tract that's eligible, so it's serving those residents that are within that eligible tract. The
Right,
issue with
because
the,
this park serves more than just the local, I mean, it serves the local people too, but not, I guess a little bit further.
Like that.
she's going to make her motion.
I'm ready for Sarah.
Okay.
So, Madam Mayor, I'll motion for city administration to prepare and submit applications to the Macomb County Competitive Grant Program for Community Development Grant Funds in the amount of $150,000 each for the following two proposals, with the highest priority given to solar residential streetlights for the purchase and installation of solar streetlights in the right-of-ways between the streets and sidewalks to add additional lighting to residential
doesn't say
streets
where.
in a CBD. Does this one work? 'Cause you could move over.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to ask him, this one works. I mean, I don't mind sitting next to Ron. You might mind sitting next to me.
Is it our speakers that are not good? Just here are the podium, they didn't say.
Well, I don't have the specifics, just the audio in general is bad. The video is great.
All right.
I'm saying audio is not.
Yeah, so the audio is getting picked up, and then some wireless microphones that are also coming in. So over time, as we get things and get adjusted, there will be a big improvement. So we appreciate their help. Ms. Flans will appreciate that the vacant properties and rental property information has been shared as requested by council on social media and on our webpage. So that information is out. The past several weeks, McKenna has been very active in addressing the vacant homes. I know Ms. Lucido has had many homes that we've take a moment to highlight the Department of Public Works. 2 weeks ago, Mayor called a snow emergency, and the guys over at DPW really worked hard and did a phenomenal job on our roads to keep all of us safe, all of us in this room that travel on the roads every day. We have a phenomenal
Give it a
director. We have many of our DPW workers do live in the community, and I know they do turn in.
To our city attorney, Mr. Albright.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. Just one item this evening. Council's in receipt of an email with proposed memorandum of understanding regarding the bird rides or the bird scooter issue. And if council wishes, I can make some minor revisions to this proposal, have them in the city to utilize the services.
Right.
I'm not really sure what the fee is to actually use one of the scooters. I know that was a presentation that was back.
Right, so what we were saying. City
Yes,
manager.
Mayor. I remember you had mentioned code enforcement and other employees using them. That is not a conversation. They've not done that in any other community. So that is not something that was added to their language.
Okay.
They did not add that to the proposed memorandum of understanding.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want them to add.
Sporting events at the high school, and also when they patrol the parks in the summertime. But,
Director, I hope they will respond on a scooter for an emergency.
it's been a long time.
I hope not.
Then you got weight limitations. One of our guys with the gear on is 300 pounds, so I don't know how much.
I don't know how that will work, you know, not in Eastpointe, while I'm here, okay?
But no, they'd be great for the reserves, but not for.
Ask them if they would be willing to do that, and then if not, move ahead with preparing the contract. If they
Yeah.
are, put that in the contract, and if not, then move ahead with the contract the way it is.
As long as it's free.
As long as it's free.
As long as it's free, of course.
So
Free is good.
That will help,
All right.
I'll make sure it's on the March meeting agenda.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
And that's all I had, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any additional questions for our attorney? Seeing none. Moving right along to,
And 7 cents, plus a 10% or $42,154.71 contingency, for a total cost not to exceed $463,701.77.
motion and support, no conversation, please call the roll, please.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Councilmember,
Setting, so they just have to adjust the setting.
Yeah, you want to bring it, yeah, you want microphones? They said no. Welcome again to our council meeting. Please state your names, and I know you're from Amy Sale.
Okay. Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Sarah Helmick. I'm with Amy Cell Talent, an executive search firm. The community survey with you, the job description, the talent rubric, and then also talk about next steps and the timeline, as well as how we would market the position, and then any other questions you may have. So,
Did council have a time to review?
The city name in the one sentence, but I think Mayor Pro Tem, I think after we talked the other day, there's another one you had. So those were the three.
There's a couple, did you mention about being centrally located in Macomb County?
Yeah, that was the sentence to revert, yeah.
And the 16 miles from Detroit?
I guess
I would propose, as it's crossed out there, that we just end, that the manager is required to be at all the meetings of the council, present, and take part in all discussions, and then we can just cross out, but has no vote, just to avoid any confusion.
Right.
Okay.
I did have one other thing. At the very beginning of this, where it says that we are seeking a page.
Oh, sure.
I didn't want to jump around and look like I was out of order, but if everybody's ready to move forward, I mean, I can just say what I found, and then we can. Okay, so I was looking at under relevant experience, and it says this candidate will be comfortable working with all stakeholders. I think that will be better written, many facets, and a successful candidate will be, the word "and" should come out of there. It says the successful candidate will be in and engaged in the community. It should probably just read that they will be engaged in the community. So just an extra word.
Yep.
We also mentioned under relevant experience that, okay, all right, and that was one I didn't ask ahead of time. next thing, where it says the city manager will have a key role in helping to address key issues. One of those words, key, should be taken out because it's just a little redundant. I think the city manager will have a role in helping address key issues would be more appropriate.
Oh, yeah,
Key issues that are facing the city.
right.
Point it says drawing in more residents, supporting young families. I think that kind of falls into the same
Okay.
scenario. And I guess the other question would be is how do you draw in more residents? The city manager doesn't, it's not really her job to do that, his or her job
Right.
to do that.
Well, if I may real quick, so the drawing in more residents, I mean, there would be a way to, reword that, but I think the idea is just like someone with the experience.
Were comments that we heard again and again, so we wanted to get them, but I think your point is really well taken, so, yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'm just, you know, I don't, you know, like also said, supporting young families, we just don't wanna look like we're excluding anybody, you know. I think we all know, people that have moved here, that have retired here, so, you know, we wanna be sure that we're clear in that, when we want them to be open to, you know, the community and working, so, I don't know if anybody else feels that to be redundant, but, I mean, that's just kind of a thought that jumped out at me. And I think actually that whole first paragraph kind of embodies some things that we said we already want, that we want, that was stated previously in this, draft. The next paragraph says that they must have demonstrated expertise in leading and supporting initiatives in a highly complex environment. I guess if somebody, to me, would be a logical question that would be asked, like, how do we define what's a highly complex environment? But I mean, you know, and maybe it won't be to them, but that's just.
Yeah, I mean, anyone with 1 year's experience in a city probably is gonna have some example.
Maybe so. And then, was a right, like we're expecting, I think it's just a little lengthy and would be better read as considering, but that's just my opinion about that. The next paragraph down, we're saying the ability to attract and recruit top talent and inspire the team, but, I do know that the city manager does not hire everyone, so I guess, how do we define what that is? What is top talent? How do they recruit top talent? But that's, again, this is just
What if,
my reading of it.
sorry to interrupt, what if we called it attract and recruit, or retain, top talent? Because we do feel like the city manager plays a key role in, inspiring the team and motivating people to come and work for an organization.
You embrace everybody regardless as to what their difference is, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to throw a party for everything that makes people different. Sometimes people don't want to be highlighted because of their differences. Sometimes people are just comfortable with being accepted because of it. So I just would say embrace diversity, and I think that would get the point across a little better.
Okay.
The next paragraph down, the ability to advise mayor and city council regarding.
Okay, communicate, okay.
And then the next paragraph down, where we talk about naturally connects and builds strong relationships. We kind of cover that with the inspiring the team and then being open. I think that I would, professionalism, but they don't necessarily have to love it. They just have to be professional and show that appropriate decorum. Strong operational and financial skills, execute policies efficiently and effectively. Then it says after that, by championing best-in-class operational practices and a culture.
I'm sorry, real quick. I just have one thing too, and I don't know if we need to put this in here. Per our charter, they need to have at least 1 year experience as a city manager, assistant city manager. So I don't know if that needs to be added in here, because that does need to be.
Yeah, in a city
It's
or village.
in the position description from the
Okay.
language I took from them, but it is hard to measure, and,
So, and it is a little repetitive, I agree, but, it, you know. And then another thing I had a question about too, I mean, obviously we're hiring you for your guys' information, for you guys to do the search and everything. But when it comes down to the actual, like, applications that we receive, will council receive a copy of everyone's applications? And then obviously you're gonna come back with us after you sort through them and tell them which ones. But would we have the ability to see all of them, you know, either way, like beforehand? If you would like, yeah, you would like, considering someone that, you know, is not gonna be, yeah. So we can give you access to those, but we're also cognizant of your time. So however you would like to work it, we actually have a applicant tracking system, which we can give people access to, people outside of our firm access to. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, even if we didn't get like the whole, I mean, at least if we just got a list of everyone that applied, and then you guys do your sorting, and then if we have a question of someone on that list, if we can come back to you and ask why you made that decision, take them out, that would be appropriate. We could email the document to Acting City Manager Walton, and she can share it with you, or how would you like to? I would be fine if you emailed it to all of us. To all of you, okay. All right, we will do that. And then, yeah, because we were hoping if we had agreement tonight, then we could get the job posted this week. And I would like to get it posted this week.
Yeah.
How everyone else feels. Yeah.
How you all feel about those changes, or do you want to add something so they can move forward with the hiring?
Assuming that there's candidates that you're, that you like, then coming back and doing the interviews the following council meeting. Or you're saying that March 20th would be the end? March 20th would be when the posting ends. The posting ends, so our next meeting would be on the 22nd of March. Okay, well, yeah, we can't do that. I didn't think so. Yeah, no, we can't do that.
Or April.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I better be clear about that. No, the first meeting in April, yeah, so that would give us time. Agree to do it beforehand, and then they're not sitting here either all evening.
Yeah, I agree with that. Can you send us a list of the timeline so we can know?
Yes.
'Cause I hate to set dates, and I don't have my calendar and my schedule, and my kids' schedule, so I have 2 other little people I have to worry about. So, if you can send that, and for those deadlines to us, I think that will help us, you know, get some ideas together for you,
Okay.
council. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we'll send that along with the revised job posting.
Yeah.
Monday to try to get everything in the packet looked through. Right, and we will give you a lot of information about each of the candidates, so
You do get it done early, I would appreciate getting
Yes.
that to us as soon as possible, and the city can, you know, make sure they deliver it.
Okay, yeah, we'd be happy to do that, that makes sense.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Should I leave this here?
Sure, just leave it there.
Thank you so much. Moving right along to item D, approval of PenLink software for police department.
By using this software. Right now, if we need it, and typically when we use this type of software, we're only going to use it for violent crimes or if we have an endangered missing person. But what it will do basically is we don't have to have your physical cell phone on us. We can just plug in a number, your phone number on it, and it will track your locations.
On a jury, and it was ridiculous. The defense attorney was reading like line by line on like a AT&T report, the pings off.
Right.
I was about to fall asleep. So I get that, but the part that's concerning to me is this real-time location thing, and I frankly don't understand how technically that even works. I mean, like, I know obviously we don't need to get into like top secret info, like,
Right.
but like how, and this was the
It's very
real time.
sophisticated. Yes, real time. It's very sophisticated. However, we can't just arbitrarily use this whenever we want. We get a search warrant and we go through the courts. You know, the officer has to type up an affidavit and search warrant. But it's very sophisticated. This software has been around for a while. However, there's been many improvements. And
I'm asking because, I mean, it's kind of like the discussion about facial recognition, right? Like, with
Yeah.
software's got facial recognition, you know,
Right.
you walking down the block and the government can,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, this
everyone
has-
expects a bit of privacy.
this works with satellites and things like that. But again, we still have to get a search warrant, and we're not going to use it all the time. Again, it's just for certain violent crimes because
Beneficial to try to see if like another community would want to go in with it, you know, in together on it. I mean, I don't know if there would be a benefit to that, like a smaller community.
yes.
You know, but like a smaller community that would have access to it then also?
I guess it's a matter of preference if they even want to use this technology. I don't know why they wouldn't, but,
And then one more question, how often then, would we probably foresee using like the real-time part? Is this like a couple times a year or like?
the real time, it all depends on the nature of the investment.
Would anyone mind, I guess, at least at this point, I think, a few other things I'd like to think about, like tabling it to the next meeting?
Yeah, that's fine. I would be happy to table it to the next meeting. So
Yeah.
I'll rescind my motion.
Because your idea is interesting also, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something you can look into. We wanted to get some more information.
Yeah, I think I'll have to think about my questions a little, and I'll write something up. And
Yes, and then I would like him just to look into that sharing of community. So I think both of those is a reasonable engagement.
Okay,
Motion and support, please call the roll, thank you.
Councilmember Curley,
yes.
Councilmember Lucido,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
yes,
Councilmember Baker,
parliamentary procedure training.
And if I could add to Councilman Monaco's suggestion to do the parliamentary procedure training, I do have approximately about $1,000 left in my council budget and my training expenses, so I'd be willing to use that money, because obviously we did not budget for this. So what I have left, I would be more than willing to use to go towards offsetting the cost of this for us to be able to do that. And my other recommendation too is if we do move ahead with doing this, yeah, I mean, I think.
Let's invite the school
Why
board.
not?
They have the same discussion sometimes and difference of opinion sometimes. So let's ask the school board, there are 7 members, and we can all fit down there, and we can stand still up here. And our beloved administration can sit where they're sitting there. So if we use Sturgis, we can ask them that we want to have the training on the Sturgis and not Robert's rules.
Yeah, and I think frankly, in what they're going to do, I think it's going to match up between the two. I think the two have very, very specific differences where you almost never run into that situation normal. Otherwise, they basically match as far as I know, at least.
Arguing back and forth, but that's just my opinion about it. I think it's just as easy just to read and invest the time and read. My reading comprehension is good. I'm assuming that everybody else's is as well. So that's my opinion about it. But you know, I can just easily get the book for a few dollars as opposed to spending $1,500 for a training. But
Allowable, well, I mean, I shouldn't say should, is allowable, but we didn't like allow that to happen last time. And so I don't know if
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Councilman Monaco, I really do. And obviously, we're all very clear now, we got the explanation on offering an amendment. So my intention is not to pay for them to come out here to explain this to us, because that has been explained to us now. We got an email about it.
And that's why we're going to have the training. The verbiage that if you would have used, it would have been acceptable. But I don't want to get,
wait, so
I don't want,
you're
I
saying
think
I didn't use the right.
I understand, but it's 9 o'clock,
So we're still
and
not
I don't
on
want
the
to,
same
I don't
page.
want to rule up what happened last
Save
week.
that for the training.
well, I do want to respond though, because the thing is I know exactly what happened and how many meetings we had in question about parliamentary procedure. I'm quite familiar. I pay very close attention to what we say at this table. And I read about what language should have been used. I also know that
MML to maybe get some proposed dates and bring them to council.
Support.
Motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lucido,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes,
Councilmember Baker,
no.
Mayor Owens.
No. Next is the approval for use of training budget for MML Capital Conference for Councilmember DeMonico.
I will make that motion to approve the use of
22-1936, the City of Eastpointe hardship exemption. I think this changes every year. Council, any questions?
Madam Mayor, I would move to adopt Resolution 22-1936 to establish the poverty exemption for the city of Eastpointe.
Support.
Motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Council,
In the proposal from last meeting, like there's the description of what a project is, because that's been an issue in the past, and there's like a few other statements here, like a capital improvement project closeout reports required and those sorts of things. I see that those were not included here.
Things to it, or just continue?
I mean, I would prefer having those items in there, but, I mean, whatever you think.
I guess.
It's already second
Well-
reading, so I would guess.
No, this should be
Oh,
the
this
first
first
reading,
reading?
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, second reading.
So what is it that you want to add to it?
Well, there's in the specifications for a building that council we didn't even know if we agreed on it, and we spent money, and so basically, if nobody on council wanted to go forward with one, then it was a waste of money at that point.
Well, and if I may add to that, we also did drawings one time for upgrades to the military museum, with council having no intention of.
Instead of informal, but then the emergency section, probably the other like major change was if this, about emergency purchases, if this section's exercised, the summary of the cost must be sent to the council within 72 hours of determining the funds needed to be spent. You know, not,
Supported, I'm comfortable.
well, then I at least want a motion to amend and add those items in, then at least, and see. I don't know if everyone has stated their opinion, so.
I'll support the amendment.
Motion and support the amended recommendations for this. Call the roll.
Did so a vote has to be had on the main motion as amended.
Okay, so the amendment, that language was just added to it.
The motion to amend passed.
Yeah.
So that passed, and now the underlying motion now with that amendment there has to be a vote on that.
It has to be voted on.
Yes.
I think that's what I said.
Yeah, but I was still talking, you didn't let me
Okay.
finish, I'm sorry, but, I was just saying why I agreed with. Okay,
The
we
motion's
done,
made,
okay.
you have to call for the vote.
Now, correct, we just have to vote on what Councilman.
Just have to call for the
Original.
vote.
That's
all.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was asking, I was getting clarity.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right.
okay, you all ready?
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido,
Yes.
Payroll and bills.
Madam Mayor, I'll motion to pay the bills in the amount of $3,220,341.94.
Support.
Motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lucido,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes.
Next item is the second hearing of the public.
Or do we have to call somebody? There's the police again. So they're not free for the city. City manager, Ms. Walton, she does a good job, and for what I see, I think she should be continued instead of spending the money, but I don't know the politics in that, but that's my opinion. Just something to look at, and
My neighborhood, so I love that school, they do a good job. Yes, sir, thank you again. Anyone else like to speak at this time? Seeing none, the second hearing of the public is now closed. Going to mayor and council reports, starting with Councilman DeMonico.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I think short and sweet today. I hope everyone did have a good Valentine's Day, as I think you've said earlier today, Madam Mayor, and just continue celebrating Black History Month for the rest of the month.
Dramas, and over 1,000 books and over 1,000 toys. So I decided that we can have celebrities from television if we want to, which would be nice, I guess, but to choose Dominic, I think, could very well guide him and change his life. But I hope it changes our life, that we have a young fella in our city that does all those things.
We have our director of public safety here, and I hope he can pass his message along to his officers, but I want to thank him for his attentiveness residents, to the questions and concerns that they have. I know sometimes I see you in passing and I say, hey, by the way, somebody said this happened or that happened. But I want to thank you for your attentiveness, and I've passed your number on to some residents, and
They were having a blast, like, I don't know how they do some of that stuff, because I'd be way too scared, that's just saying, but anyways, they all had a good time, I didn't see anything bad happen, all positive feedback. I mean, the kids were sledding, I mean, there's no snow hardly left on the hill, and kids are still trying to sled down there, so, but it's all good, because they're having fun. Secondly, I would just like to take a moment to actually thank our building department, working with McKenna, has been working out really well. They were really helpful with a situation we had in our neighborhood to us. And lastly, the Oddfellows will be doing a breakfast on Memorial Day. It's free to all veterans, first responders, so if you know any, keep that in mind. Have them come out to the Oddfellows. And that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Thank you for your work. I want to thank all the directors of DPW, Police Department, Economic Development, and you all over there, because team, and that's phenomenal. I think one of the officers was just became a sergeant, and the other one was a sergeant for like a year and a half, 2 years, and things like that. So we want to promote more people to work for the city of Eastpointe. The promotions are good, our director is good, and our city is good as well. So we always want to promote that, and we are hiring, right, Director? we are hiring. I believe that the bill is Black History Month, so that's why I bring it out this year to support it. And also next month is National Reading Month, so I'm excited about that. Usually in National Reading Month, we are asked throughout the community to read. I did a couple schools, so this year I'll be doing my own children's school, so I'm excited about that. I'm not gonna do their class, I don't wanna embarrass them that bad, so I'm gonna do the kindergarten class, and I'm excited about that, because I'll probably be bringing my own book to read and share with.
Yes?
Councilmember Baker?
yes.
Mayor Owens?
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico?
No.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
I'll see you all in a minute, if you'd like to stay. Yeah, I gotta use the rest of you too. We are back in session. It gave me the point, that means action. So, we're gonna go